In the words of the Justice Minister, they'd come to restore peace and tranquility, but the price was high. Supporters of the main MDC alliance had gathered to rally, convinced they'd won Monday's vote. But when news emerged that the ruling ZANU-PF had won a big majority in parliament, many protesters began throwing stones. Police tried to contain them, then the tanks moved in. The Electoral Commission still has to release the results of the presidential election. The MDC alliance refuses to accept any result other than its victory. They're calling the Electoral Commission's credibility into question.
And saying that ZANU-PF, the ruling party, has again stolen the elections and subverted the will of the people.
People, they are suffering in this country because of people, they are stupid. They keep on stealing our votes. Why? Why people, they stealing our votes? Why people, they stealing our votes? I want my vote back.
Yes.
I want my vote back. If they don't want us to vote for Chamisa, they must destroy this country.
Who defend our vote, who defend our voice. We have suffered for long and we are fighting against that suffering. We can never allow again the people's victory to be stolen.
Incumbent President Emmerson Mnangagwa blames the opposition for Wednesday's trouble, saying it's trying to subvert the political process. He's also calling for calm, and by Wednesday night, Mnangagwa had got his wish, at least for now. But this has been a setback to his attempts to present Zimbabwe as a country that's turned a corner. Previous elections have been marred by violence and claims of cheating. Millions here and many more worldwide had been hoping it could do better this time. Valdi Carlsa, CGTN, Harare, Zimbabwe.
Well, let's get you the latest now on Zimbabwe's election process. We can cross over to Farai Mwakutuya. He's in Harare for us. Farai, you've been following the briefing by the Election Commission. Still no clarity on the results, the presidential results. So what more can you tell us about the briefing?
Well, Beatrice, it was a very short briefing. They literally came in and said later this evening from 10 p.m. local time, that's about 8 p.m. GMT, they will begin announcing those presidential election results. They say that this is taking so long because of that process where those V11 forms, the result slips from each and every polling station, still need to be inspected and verified by the different political parties. They say that process has been going on quite well and smoothly thus far, and so from 10 p.m. this evening they should be able to start giving us those presidential election results, which have been a cause for anxiety, a cause for tension here as people wait to just find out which way that presidential election went. Beatrice.
Well, Farai, there's been a blame game going on since Wednesday, though, between the ruling party, ZANU-PF, and the opposition MDC on who's responsible for Wednesday's violence. So how is that going to be resolved?
Well, at this point, indeed, you say a blame game. The MDC saying, look, there was use of excessive force, and indeed the Commonwealth Observer Mission today also mentioned the fact that there was use of excessive force, particularly towards citizens who were unarmed. ZANU-PF also, on its hand, insists that these protesters were armed and were disrupting people going about their normal business, damaging property, and disrupting people who are going about their normal business. So what has happened now now is that we know ZANU-PF says it's reported this violence, these cases of damage to the police. We also know that the MDC has lodged its own complaints. At this stage, though, what some of the political leaders are saying is, let's not point fingers, let this not be a point for blame game, let's allow the investigations to happen, but also crucially, let's allow for the Electoral Commission to do its due process and announce these results. Thereafter, we can then look at who was to blame, but more importantly, even as we do that, remember that Zimbabwe must come first, that political contestations should never come between Zimbabweans, because at the end of the day, we are Zimbabweans. So we are starting to see some reconciliation, some maturity coming through, and hopefully when we get these results, people can set their differences aside and move forward.
All right, Farai Mwakatuya for us there in Harare, where he says the results of that presidential election in Zimbabwe will start trickling in, or will be announced from 8 GMT this evening.